Are you practicing what you preach? Are you actually doing what you're telling other people that you're doing? Or are you just saying and repeating phrases that you've heard before and want to embody? Those are two different things. If you tell someone you're going to do something and then you do it, that's good. If you tell someone you're going to do something and then you don't do it, which I guarantee you and I have done many times before, not quite so good. So keep in mind, whenever you tell someone what you're going to do or how you plan to do it, that it's up to you to hold up your end of the bargain. Last weekend, I went to the gym, an actual physical gym in person for the first time in a little bit. I went with one of my friends, one of my really close friends. I mentioned him on this channel and on this page regardless, Nikki. And I worked out with him. It had been some time earlier in the week. He and I were texting and I called him out of the blue. He was kind of surprised by it. And that topic, which we had discussed of, hey, going into the gym and working out together for a little bit, finally we're like, hey, want to do it Friday? So we did. It was a good workout. I PR'd on bench. I hadn't benched in years, and I got up to 155. I'm very proud of myself, considering I don't like necessarily those core lifts of bench, squat, deadlift. I don't need to lift a copious amount of weight in my mind. I just want to be functionally fit, especially now. That's how I've reframed fitness. And we were talking afterward about this page, about what I've been doing and whether or not it might be a little embarrassing in the future, because in my preferred workplace, this is easily accessible. I have it linked on my main page. People can go and find it, and in the future, when there are a lot more eyeballs on me for broadcasting, not just in here, I hope that there will be more eyes here as well. There will be a path, and there will be a time when the two converge paths, and it's up to the world. I don't know what people are going to think about me. But another thing he brought up was about if I was practicing what I was preaching. If by these videos, and not just these videos here on my Instagram, I've been posting every day now for the last few weeks, almost a month straight of posting every day. He brought up that idea of whether or not I was actually doing the advice that I have been giving. And that sat with me for a few days. It sat with me for a few days after I ended up calling softball later on that weekend, 3 games, a doubleheader, and after the gym that Friday, it was a game that afternoon. And that overall conversation and that thought stuck with me, because it's easy, not just for me running a page like this, or for anybody, quite frankly, to give advice to people on the internet who they don't know necessarily, who they don't interact with frequently on a day-to-day basis. It's easy for me to find a connection between two things, bring that connection to light in a video, film it within a minute, edit the closed captions, which are the hardest part for editing for me, because I like to make sure I have the grammar correct, and then put it up. That's the easy part. I've been able to do it every day. It's pretty self-explanatory. Anyone can do it. That's why this overall concept is pretty filled, because so many people are doing it. The other side of that coin is, are you actually keeping true to your word? Are you keeping true to your word? Are you listening to your own advice? In one word and in one post, I could be saying, I want you to shoot your shot more. But then in real life, when that opportunity comes and I'm like, I don't want to do it, that's not practicing what I preach. That's not practicing what you preach. Simply, that's just not how it works. And bringing things back to an overall perspective about life. If you tell someone you're going to do something, it is up to you to actually do that said thing. It is up to you. If you tell someone, I'm going to make we'll bring it to growing up. I'm going to make the JV basketball team. Well, are you going to practice every day? Are you going to maybe do practices in the morning, practices after school? Are you going to sign up for a gym maybe to even get that court? Because depending on where you live, you might not have a driveway, you might not have a basket to practice on for yourself. And even then, your driveway might be just a straight, narrow strip. So you're getting straight on shots, maybe to the right of the top of the arc or the top of the key. But what about the corners? What about the wings? It's up to you to continue doing and working toward whatever you told someone you're going to do. And it's not just that way for growing up in life. It's the same thing in work. Same thing in the workforce. You're tasked with a project. You tell someone you're going to get that project done on a certain day, and then you procrastinate, and it takes you an extra day or two to get it in. Maybe it's not necessarily late because you still have the time, you get it done and you put it in, but you're not holding up your end of the bargain. And maybe that person or your boss that you're working with is so busy that it kind of slips their mind, so it doesn't necessarily hurt you in the long run, but it should hurt you personally. You should take it personally when you tell someone you're going to do something and then you don't do it. That's the only way, and making this a priority, it's the only way to guarantee that future success. As easy as it is to tell someone, let's go back to sports. As easy it is to tell all your friends you're going to be in the NBA or in the MLB or in MLB. I think they don't use the before the MLB acronym. Or play NFL football when you grow up. You know how hard that is? You know how much work those guys put into their body, put themselves through mentally and physically? I didn't even touch on the whole aspect of football and how that hurts the body to a degree. You could be the fastest person on the field, on the turf. You're going to get hit hard once or twice a game. And depending on if you're the star player or not, you could quadruple or quintuple those amount of times where it happens to you because everyone's gunning for your head. Even if helmet-to-helmet contact doesn't necessarily exist anymore, and in the college landscape, targeting is a thing now, everyone's still gunning for you. And when you put that overall vision out into the world, depending on where you're going from, depending on where you're going to, what you're going from, when you tell that to enough people, a lot of people will hold you to that standard. I'm not saying everyone will, but there will be people who will hold you to those standards. And when you find those people, I hope you keep them in your life, because you don't want to be in a world where you're telling people what to do, how to act, how to get to the next step, when you yourself haven't gotten to that next step. Partially, that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to get out of it because I want eventually the future that I want down the road. Not going to explicitly tell you that right now because this topic came off the top of my head, and I don't know off the top of my head how to finish that line. That's for me. And you have that for you. Maybe don't go tell everyone that you want to do something. Maybe go off and just start doing it. With this page, and especially the Instagram, which I've been posting on more frequently, I didn't decide to tell people, oh, I'm going to post every day. Originally, I was doing the one video a week as this, the clips on Friday, which have been fun for me personally. I don't know how much they help everyone else in the long run. Honestly, doesn't bring as much value. It's more just a little niche thing for me. I just went and started doing it. I hope that you do that. I hope that you start deciding to go and do things. Maybe not telling people that you're going to do them before you do them. Make that decision yourself. And with all of these times where you're speaking, hold yourself to those standards. Hold yourself accountable. And before maybe you tell someone that you're going to do something, set it up. Build the foundation before you actually go into the world and start on whatever project you are, whatever book you want to write, whatever video you want to record, the channel that you want to create. Actually do something to take that first step. Because whenever you want to start anything, besides maybe reaching out to people who are already successful in your field for advice, I don't think the first thing that you should be doing is telling any and everyone what you are planning on doing. Just go for it. Just go for it. I've seen this a lot of times on social media. I'll repeat it, especially for this video. You just have to put yourself out there. Whatever you want to do, you get better by doing. You get better by doing whatever you want to do. It's all about reps at the end of the day. It's been reps for broadcasting. It's reps for recording, like what I'm doing right now. It's reps for writing, because at times, I'll be honest, as someone who's been starting to write a little bit more and develop that side of his own identity now, because I've been a fairly good writer in the past, but now I'm exploring a different look at it. You have to make the first post before you make the 100th. You have to write your first page before you write the next 1,000, depending on how giant your book is going to be. You have to write the first page of the script, or even the treatment, which I've learned what a treatment is now for films from doing some script writing stuff personally these last few weeks. At times it's a start and stop process, but I've learned a lot. And with the advice you're hearing and the advice you're giving, implement that. Don't be someone who just tells people what to do and stays in the same place. I promise you, when you keep telling people what to do, and if you're doing that, while also working on yourself and also elevating yourself, maybe getting to that next level in the corporate ladder, getting that promotion, starting that hustle on the side, starting that business. When you elevate yourself and when you hold yourself to a standard that matches what you're putting out, that will actually get more people interested than just telling people about what you're doing without any time put in. Put in the time to whatever you want to do, then talk about it. Don't do the other way around. I feel like that's a common misconception we have, where we tell all these people, hey, I'm doing this. I've started to maybe look at things a little differently with job interviews. I was telling everyone about every interview I had, and then for a recent few times I decided, I'm not going to tell anyone I'm doing this interview. I'm going to say I did this interview. I'm I'm going to do this interview, see what happens. Maybe the result was the same. It was for me this recent cycle. But that didn't necessarily hurt me. It didn't make as big of an impact as it did on me. My main mentor from these last few years, I hadn't told him about the jobs I was just applying and interviewing for positions. He called me randomly one day and I just gave him the updates of what I was doing. Might have been a bit different, but at the end of the day, that conversation was going to be had regardless. And when you're putting out content, if you are doing that, at the end of the day, someone's going to ask you about it. It might not be someone who you remember. Recently, from the videos I've been doing, I got a text from someone who I hadn't even spoken to within the last 5 years. We were both freshmen up at school, and I was working in student media, and I talked to him for an interview because he was on the baseball team. And then that was the only real interaction we had. We both split off and went our separate ways, both doing whatever we're doing in our field. And out of nowhere, he texted me one day saying, "Hey, it's kind of a random thing to mention, but I love your stuff. I love what you've been doing." With whatever you're doing, I would rather, one, do it, and then wait for stuff like that to come in, compared to maybe telling anyone and everyone about what you're doing, and maybe you don't get that message. You shouldn't be going overboard, and I'm not saying you should never promote yourself. Build the baseline first. Promotion will come as you put in the work, whether it be from yourself personally, whether it be from other people who watch and then ask you about it in person, or whether it be from over time when that community comes. But at the end of the day, it all stems back to actually practicing what you're preaching. So when you put something into the universe and you tell people what you're going to do, I hope that you understand that you have now set the bar for yourself and that it's in your hands to overcome it.
Bonus content.
155 on bench. To be fair, the last time I tried to max out on bench, I couldn't get a plate up, so that was pretty cool. I just had to remember to breathe. But besides the point, March, as right now, is being pretty solid. It's not as hectic as from what I've had in January and February, maybe. But this is the kind of calm before the storm, because once April starts, life will get a lot more busier for me. I still plan on posting, don't worry. But this kind of break, as you hear from the birds behind me, is one that is needed in life. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am, and I wish you the best of luck in whatever you're doing for the future. Bye now.